A Manitoba man convicted in a triple homicide more than 25 years ago may have a new trial. In 1997, Robert Sanderson was one of 3 Manitoba men convicted in the grisly slaying of 3 rival gang members. Today, Federal Justice Minister David Lametti announced via a press release, following an extensive review, he has referred the case of Mr. Robert Sanderson to the Manitoba Court of Appeal for a new appeal from conviction pursuant to the conviction review provisions of the Criminal Code. Ron Dalton is the Executive Director of Innocence Canada, a non-profit devoted to wrongful convictions in Canada, and he joins us now to talk about the case. Ron, hello and welcome to our show. What can you tell us about Robert Sanderson's case?
I can tell you that Mr. Sanderson has been convicted for the last 27 years of a triple murder, and he spent 25 of those years incarcerated inside of a penitentiary. He's been out on day parole for the last year and a half, but like everyone serving a life sentence, he continues to serve his sentence whether he's in the community or in the prison. A life sentence in this country is literally that. It lasts until the day you die.
Now, why did you apply for the ministerial review?
Well, Mr. Sanderson approached our organization, as many convicted people do, and asked us to have a look at his case. Unfortunately, we're a small nonprofit organization, so we often have a wait list before we can even get to someone's case. And we've been working on Rob's case for the last 10 years. We actually submitted an application to the Federal Justice Minister in 2017. So that's 5.5 years ago, and it's taken that long for the minister to review the case and come to the conclusion that there's a likelihood that there's been a miscarriage of justice in this case. The minister hasn't determined that Mr. Sanderson is innocent or guilty and should go back to prison, but what he has done is taking the step of referring the case back to the Manitoba Court of Appeal and asking them to have a second, closer look at it.
Well, on that note, how does Minister Lametti's announcement today affect things going forward?
Well, from our perspective and from Mr. Sanderson's perspective, it's a positive development. The minister could have said, we reviewed the case and we don't think there's any merit to your claim of innocence, and Mr. Sanderson would be left with no further recourse. That could still happen at the Court of Appeal, but at least it's going to the Court of Appeal with the additional fresh evidence that we've provided to the minister and the minister's conclusion that there's a likelihood that there's been a miscarriage of justice. So it's a stronger case going back to the Court of Appeal than when they first looked at it 23 or 24 years ago.
And last one for you here, Ron. What's next? What's next?
What's next is just like any other appeal. Our organization will file a factum, or a statements of facts and legal jurisprudence, to the Court of Appeal. The Crown will respond with their own factum and their own arguments. There'll likely be oral hearings in front of the Court of Appeal, and then the members of the Court of Appeal will take a few months likely to review the matter, write a decision, and hopefully within the next year, Mr. Sanderson will get a decision from them, and with any luck at all, it'll be a decision declaring him innocent.
Well, we'll certainly be watching. Ron, we appreciate the time and the insight into this.
Okay, well, thanks to you and your listeners. It helps to keep people informed about what's going on, because when it comes to the Winnipeg Police Services and Indigenous clients, we've had a number of cases like this, and I'm afraid we have some more in the pipeline.